that's not how it is. Now people are exposed to a whole lot.
What do you think? So Biden did the interview with Charlemagne the God.
Oh yeah, I saw
and he
that.
said Biden at the end of the interview, he said, if you can't,
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
yeah. What sort of impact do you think that had on?
Oh, a lot of them were very offended, because a lot of the questioning, things they question. One of them, that's what it is. Who is he to decide for us?
Right.
Who we should be.
He kind of exposed what they're doing in saying that, right?
Yeah, and also the crime bill, and
Kamala's
Kamala,
on that
they don't like Kamala, and they have the the last debate when Biden said that, because when Trump was pressing him on the son, he flipped it and said his kid was on drugs. So a lot of blacks up in hearing that, how do you think
right.
they would say, okay, you want us to have sympathy for your son, but when
sent
we were
our sons
you
to
sent
jail.
our sons to jail,
Yes.
to prisons,
Right.
So I, the type of sympathy he was looking for, he is really caught in the middle, because he wants to play the race card so much, but that's going to alienate his whites, because anytime the race card comes out, the penalty is against a white person, straight. There's no ifs and buts about that.
You did that just like a soccer referee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hit them with the red card.
Yeah.
You see, and pretty much it's like you've got people out there right now. For example, I read in 2018 when Kamala Harris first came to the Senate, and she was introduced as the first Indian senator.
Right.
She calls herself Indian. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But now in 2020, she's black.
Right.
Have you seen her interview with a lady named Angela Rye? Anyways, this is interesting. She asked Kamala who her favorite rapper is.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, she said Tupac.
Yeah.
Even in the Breakfast Club, she went there. She said this thing. She's like, oh yeah, when she was in college, Tupac was her favorite rapper, but
phony.
And Snoop. But when she was in college, graduating, those guys,
they were like 12 years old.
So that phoniness, I think, in a way, I believe that sort of backfired on Biden.
Right.
I think for a lot of the older blacks, they are just hooked on that plantation.
Right.
I don't think they would change much.
That kind of leads me to my next and maybe last question. Do you see a difference in the attitude towards Trump and the election in general between African Americans and the immigrant black population?
Most immigrant blacks, I believe they like Trump. Yeah.
More so than
Biden.
And more than African Americans.
I would say African Americans, they like Trump more.
African Americans like them more than immigrant blacks.
Yeah.
And what about? It's from what I've seen in surveys and whatnot. It seems like there's a real split in the black community in terms of support for Trump amongst between men and women.
Yeah. That's
do you agree
true.
with that?
I agree with that. That's again because they use so the emotional state. So if you listen to Democratic talking points, it's geared towards the women. They almost seem like they gave up on the guys, because most guys, even last election, most black guys voted for Trump. So 'cause,
Most?
um, they voted more than the black women.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they voted more than the black women.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe they gear their message towards black women more because, there are a large number of black African American men who can't vote because they've been, victims of the crime bill and the war on drugs?
Yeah, and the women seem to be the ones in charge of that, community. So yeah, that definitely plays a role, because and also the numbers, there's more black women than black men. So they push the message to that, and they promote that lifestyle because now they know only the mother has influence over the child. So it's like a generational thing
Right.
that keeps moving.
Right.
But I'm seeing a shift. I'm seeing a shift. I think even with blacks, among blacks, just as much as I see amongst white, the Trump supporters are quiet about it because they get attacked.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they get attacked literally.
Yeah.
So I think they might be the silent majority. Not the women though.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Great. And just one more thing I got to ask. I hear all the time, America is a racist country, so racist. What is that your experience?
But what's the meaning of racism?
Yeah, that's a good question. But I think they mean when you hear that kind of platitude, I think it's just the sort of traditional definition of racism.
No.
Is that like,
The fact is, in America, what they are doing is they are using a part of American history to perpetrate in people's mind that this is what is going on, and they have
regardless of like what's going on now, they talk about 50, 100, 200 years ago.
Yeah, but quite frankly, my experience, is quite different. And most black people, if you talk to them, people cannot tell you blatant, quote unquote, racism, because if you look at me a certain way, and I'm the one with the power to judge and interpret what that look meant.
Right.
Or we could be having a discussion and, like, let's say reparation, and you question me, why should black people get reparation? Now I get to decide that you're racist for simply me saying, you know what, you guys should just allow the government to take your tax money and give it to me. Why do you have to question that?
Right.
So that makes you
right. And if somebody is primed and they've heard over and over again, like white people they're all racist, they can't help it.
Yeah, that's
then,
what
then if you get a funny look or someone says they don't want reparations, it's like the first thing to go to
it's
is
a trigger.
Racist.
Yeah, it's the trigger, because for me, I think it disadvantages black people quite a bit, because when I come across like white people, generally, if they don't know me at first, they are sort of like apprehensive, It's like everything, they are careful, but once we're talking and they see this man thinks for himself, and I'm not thinking about anything has anything to do with race. It has something to do with our common humanity. Then I would see like their guards would like drop.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's easy conversation.
You get down to just person to person.
person to
Yeah.
person. But but there's no way someone, especially a white person, because even me, like seeing, I've seen some of that training, the critical race theory. I laughed. I couldn't believe what I'm saying.
Right.
Because I would think like, if I'm a white person, these white people are actually, I said they're nice. They sit there and take it. If somebody is sitting there and say, judging that they don't know me from anywhere, they're forcing, like I'm just inherently a evil, bad person. Because when they say that, that's what that means.
Right.
So I'm just inherently an evil person. I'm bad, blah blah blah. So what? Like, this is a beating session? Are you kidding me? I'm not about to sit there and listen to that. And even if I do, I'm going to have questions for you. But white people take it.
Yeah, well, and it, like in a situation like a job training or something, you feel like you can't, as a white person, you are not even allowed to question, because like you said before, if you question, it proves the assertion, right?
Yeah, because it's a one-way conversation.
Right.
It's sort of
it's a training.
Training.
Yeah, it's not the conversation. It's,
you're trained to be quiet, to agree with me, no matter what. And also, I realized something. Even things that are supposedly racist, majority of the time, it's not even black people that decide that this was racist. It's what those, the white people that think they're in charge feel what is racist, and they take it up.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's
a really interesting dynamic of all this, for sure.
Because ordinarily, if you just leave kids to themselves, for example, if you're not training one kid to be a victim, to feel that way, because this feeling has to come from somewhere.
Right.
So, for example, if somebody says something to me, like one time there was a guy at my job. He says to me, "Why don't you go back to Congo?" So, so I was like, I said, "Oh, no."
White guy?
Yeah. I said, "Nah, man." I said, I'm not from Congo,
Right.
But supposedly he was all like confused. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be like a racial epithet, but I was like, no, I'm not from the Congo, So but you would see like most black people, like say the guy, you're like, why don't you go back to Congo? Now you are racist, instead of knowing, okay, you might be a dumbass,
right?
You see what I'm saying? So I, in fact, like, feel sorry for the guy,
right.
Not like, okay, dude, you're an idiot.
You just exposed yourself.
Yeah, but instead, this individual, instead of seeing that you're talking to a dumbass, now you, because you're told as a black person, when a white person says that to you, you're supposed to be mad, that person is racist. But what is the meaning of it? That's why I'm asking.
Right.
What is the meaning? Like, if you say to me, go back to Congo, like that example. I'm not from Congo. Why would I be upset? Right. Regardless of whatever dumb stuff you formulated in your head. Now, you've known the reality. Okay, wow, he's not from Congo. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what's going on. Like, for example, the BLM issue, even. If someone comes to you and says Black Lives Matter, you're like, I know, but all lives matter.
Right.
that makes you
Racist.
so wait a minute. Are you telling me only black people's lives matter?
Right.
Is that what you're telling me? So like I was confused. Even I saw a couple of weeks ago a group of white people with that sign. They are all energetic. It's only white people
Right.
showing that Black Lives Matter. But when they saw me, they did not make like any.
They didn't chant at you.
No, they
Right.
didn't.
Yeah.
It's like. So I don't know. Maybe the way I was walking, like maybe I gave them the look that they are phony. It's because if you're saying Black Lives Matter, don't you think you might want to find out how the actual black person?
Right. Well, and then so I've seen information like that 8 out of 10 black people want as many, if not more,
Right.
police
Mhm.
in their community.
Right.
Right. But
Right.
then you have this whole organization and just blowing up everywhere and saying get rid of the police, defund the police.
Yeah, but
And,
but that's crazy.
And that's like the people who the white college professors and whatnot who think of this critical race theory and stuff, like they come up with these ideas, but it's disconnected from the reality of living in a black community in America.
Well, they're trying to
It's at least some part of it.
formulate their argument. They're formulating it for the people. The people are not saying that.
Right.
So
There's a disconnect between.
yeah, and because so they're using the media to try to drive that point home.
Right.
Which is okay. We're going to show a black person, who gets shot by the cop. For example, you had a guy who. It's not like the cops were driving by. They're like, "Ooh, here goes Blackie. Let's go get him."
Right.
The cops were called to come to this place. This guy is trying. He fought the police. They tased him. Nothing. He goes to his car to.
You're talking about Jacob Blake?
Yeah, to grab a knife. So he gets shot. Okay. First, even if we just see the video, okay, this guy fought the cop. The cop didn't shoot him, right? He shot him with taser. It didn't work. He didn't comply. So this guy goes to his car, reaching for something. You just fought with cops. What do you think this guy was bringing out? Flowers?
Right.
That's not what he was bringing out. Obviously, he went to go get something, and it's not good for the cops.
Right.
So he gets shot. But now, this guy is hailed as a hero, while he has a victim there. Because you read the story, the guy wasn't even supposed to be there. There was a restraining order.
Right.
And
he had sexually assaulted
the woman, right? He was going to, in fact, I found that the car, that wasn't even his car. He was trying to steal it. So you were telling me, with children in it, now we would have like a hostage situation. So people are trying to tell us that guy, his behavior with his rap shit, they're using someone like that to be a representative for the entire black people.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So if they keep showing these short clips and black people see it, if they don't do research, they get upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally you get upset. And you have athletes saying, they are afraid they get,
LeBron,
yeah, like
he says he's afraid.
he said black people are afraid of cops. I was like, so to me, there's a danger to this, because me personally, like I went to a store, right? This is crazy, and I'm checking out, and this guy, he was super, like beyond nice, and I'm thinking to myself, oh God. I think he just took the critical race to where it was. This is just so cringy. Like
Right.
I just want you to check me out so I can, like, every 2 seconds, you're doing good. I'm like, what is going on? So you see how like they've made things so weird?
Right.
Because under normal circumstances, like, how am I that guy checking your groceries out and checking mine out? Like, right? I'm not saying 100% he took that class, but let's say he did, right?
Right.
Prior to him taking that, if when I showed up at the counter, how do you think he would have seen me? Hey, here's a customer checking out. I
Right.
mean, oh yeah, black guy. I've
Just
seen
another person coming to the counter.
coming to the counter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But now he is saying, "Oh, an oppressed black guy." You know?
Right. Right.
And to me, these people don't care because have you seen?
That gets back to the Malcolm X comment, right?
Yeah, he. To me, I think that's more like what he said is more dangerous because these people are using their own thought to try to control you. Because you have you seen Marianne Williams?
Yes.
You know,
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, you're talking about when she was in the church and
yeah.
tells all the touch the black people and like pray and apologize for
I
everything
think they
your
see us like
grandparents
pets.
did. Right.
It's like, no, seriously, because like, why should you? Okay, if you're telling me I'm oppressed, who is oppressing me? You've got LeBron James, you know. I mean, quite frankly, from what I see, what I've seen, a lot of these guys, I think they are forced into this.
Well, I know with LeBron James, like before all the recent BLM stuff, it appears as though he was forced by China to, take positions that didn't quite make sense unless you knew that he was trying to promote the NBA and himself in China.
Yeah, because prior to all this, right? I remember when they used to, I'm talking black people, criticize LeBron because they're like, oh, stuff is happening, you don't say anything. He did not used to talk about politics one bit. I don't know how much they paid him, but I mean, because the guy was not even interested.
Right.
I remember they asked him about Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy.
Right, I remember, yeah.
He said he didn't know who that was, and that really upset.
Right. Someone
people.
said he needs to be more representing the leftist cause or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, I wouldn't put it past China because China, Trump being there, I mean, they've already made it clear they want Biden to win.
Right.
So, if I have nothing against Chinese, but I don't know if I want to be on the Chinese rule.
The Chinese government is different than the Chinese people.
The people are nice,
Yeah.
but the government has evil intention, and yeah. But it was really good talking to you.
Yeah, man, I got to wrap it up. Thank you, Abu. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Let me get your contact.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so you just